Hello everyone. In the last lecture, we have seen stages of synthesis of thyroid hormones. There are total 6 stages, and we have these 6 stages with the help of this diagram. First stage was the formation of thyroglobulin or synthesis of thyroglobulin. After the synthesis of thyroglobulin from endoplasmic reticulum and Golgi apparatus, it is transported into the follicular cavity. Then the second step was iodine trapping. This iodide is trapped into the follicular cell with the help of sodium iodide symport pump. Then after that, third stage was oxidation of this iodide, as tyrosine binds only with the iodine. So this iodide is converted into the iodine with the help of enzyme TPO. And fourth stage after that is transport of this iodine with the help of Pendrin pump or chloride pump. Then next, fifth stage is the iodination. That means iodine combines with tyrosine, that is amino acid, and forms various derivatives such as MIT, DIT with the help of various coupling reaction, and that coupling reaction was the last stage. After the formation of MIT, DIT and T3 and T4, all of these are transported into the follicular cells from the follicular cavity with the help of process endocytosis. After that, into the endocytic vesicle, lysozyme release their enzymes into this vesicle, and these enzymes splits T3 and T4 and MIT and DIT. T3 and T4 are transported into the blood as they are lipophilic, so they can be easily pass through this bilipid layer cell membrane. But MIT and DIT, which is of no endocrine importance, are again deiodinized with the help of enzyme deiodinase, and that iodine is reused for the synthesis of hormones T3, T4, MIT and DIT. So this is all about synthesis of thyroid hormones. After the synthesis, hormones are stored, that means T3 and T4 are stored in this colloid for about 4 months, and as per the requirement they are transported into the blood. After that, we have seen fate of MIT and DIT. As they are of no endocrine value, they are again deionized with the help of deiodinase enzyme and removed iodine from MIT and DIT, and allowing the free iodide to be recycled for synthesis of more hormones. So in this lecture we will start the next topic, mode of action of thyroid hormones as well as the functions of thyroid hormones. So for the mode of action, first we have to say that which receptors are responsible for the transport for receiving these T3 and T4. While transport of the thyroid hormones in the blood with the help of three proteins: thyroxine binding globulin, thyroxine binding prealbumin, and albumin. These are the three proteins, and with this help of these three proteins, thyroid hormones are transported on the target cells. After transporting, which receptors receives this T3 and T4? So thyroid hormone binds with the nuclear receptors and becomes activated and initiate the process of transcription. So this thyroid hormones binds with the receptors, that receptors present on the nucleus, so that receptors are called as nuclear receptors, and after that they form HRC, that means hormone receptor complex, and this hormone receptor complex performs various biological and physiological functions. They initiate the transcription process, that means transcription of DNA to RNA with the help of this mRNA. So after formation of HRC, large number of mRNA are formed, and these mRNA are responsible for the RNA translation. If RNA get translated, then ribozymes get activated, because main activator for the ribosomes are the process of RNA translation. So RNA translation activates the ribosomes for the production of proteins, and these proteins carry various reactions or biological functions within the cells. So after the activation of ribosomes, hundreds of new intracellular proteins are formed. Most of the actions are exerted through these proteins. That means mode of action of these thyroid hormones is carried with help of these proteins, which are formed by the cytoplasmic ribosomes. So here in the diagram, T3 and T4 hormones, as they are lipophilic, they can easily pass through the cell membrane of the target cell from the blood, and after transporting into the cytoplasm, they forms HRC with the receptors or nuclear receptors, and carried out various reactions, that means transcription and translation of RNA, and with the help of this mRNA, ribosomes get activated, and after the activation of ribosomes, various proteins get synthesized, and these proteins are important for various action in the target cell. So mode of action of T3 and T4 is through these proteins, which are synthesized by the ribosomes. So this is about mode of action of T3 and T4. That means T3 and T4 are forms in the follicular cells of the thyroid gland. They are stored in the follicular cavity of the thyroid follicles. After storage, they are transported as per the need of body. They are transported with the three proteins: thyroxine binding protein, thyroxine binding prealbumin, and albumin, and along with this binding, they are transported on the target cells, and targets, after transporting towards the transport cell, target cell, they are easily passed through this cell membrane of the target cell and binds with the nuclear receptors which are present on the nucleus and forms HRC, and this HRC is responsible for these various biological processes, that means transcription of DNA, translation of RNA, formation of messenger RNA, and these all processes are responsible for the activation of ribosomes, and ribosomes, after activating, they forms proteins, and these proteins are responsible for various actions in the target cells. So let us see the functions of thyroid hormones. Up to this we have seen histology of thyroid gland, basic introduction of thyroid gland, thyroid hormones, their plasma level, half-life period, rate of secretion. After that we have seen the stages, various stages for the synthesis of T3 and T4, that means thyroid hormones. Then we have seen mode of action. So let us start the functions of thyroid gland. Before that, thyroid functions of thyroid hormones, the one effect, that is autoregulatory effect, and that effect is called as Wolff-Chaikoff effect. So what is this Wolff-Chaikoff effect? This is very important for the autoregulation, for the synthesis of thyroid hormones. So Wolff-Chaikoff effect is known as autoregulatory phenomena that inhibits organification. That means organification means iodine combines with thyroglobulin in the thyroid gland. So this effect is discovered by this Wolff and Chaikoff. Both of these, they name the effect Wolff-Chaikoff effect. So this is the phenomenon in which there is a autoregulation of thyroid hormone formation. Thyroid gland has the capacity to handle iodine insufficiency as well as iodine excess. When our body gets iodine in the deficient quantity, that means insufficient, then what will happen? And when our body get iodine in the excess quantity, then what will happen? So these both effects are regulated by thyroid gland itself, so that this phenomenon is called as autoregulatory phenomenon, that means self-regulatory phenomenon. So let us see this self-regulatory phenomenon. As per this effect, the excess iodine quickly inhibits thyroid iodide organification. That means when our body takes more iodine diet, that means in our blood, when there is an excess quantity of iodine, this excess quantity of iodine quickly inhibits organification, and this organification means iodine combines with the tyrosine or thyroglobulin. When this combination is inhibited, that means T3 and T4 forms in less quantity. So when in our body iodine is excess in the quantity, it will inhibit T3 and T4 formation, and exactly opposite of this, when in our body there is a less iodide, that which stimulates the formation of T3 and T4. When the availability of iodine becomes excess quantities, thyroid inhibits organification of iodine, but all this process is carried out with the help of these iodo-peptides. These iodo-peptides are responsible for the inhibition. So these iodo-peptides are formed that temporarily inhibit, not permanently. These iodo-peptides temporarily inhibit formation of TPO. This is the enzyme which is necessary for the oxidation of iodide into the iodine. When there is a this oxidation will occur, then and then tyrosine get bind with the iodine. So these iodopeptides has capacity to inhibit this formation of TPO, mRNA and protein synthesis. So ultimately thyroglobulin iodinations, that means various combinations that are MIT, DIT, this will also get inhibited. So this is the autoregulatory mechanism which is present in the thyroid gland, and this effect is as per our level of iodine in the body or blood. Let's talk about functions of thyroid hormones. Thyroid hormone mainly acts on the metabolism of our body and the growth of our body. So that means in the overall body, thyroid hormones acts, that means target cells of the thyroid hormones are the cells which are present in our body, and these two functions are very important for our whole body, that means metabolism and growth. So let us see the first action or first function of thyroid hormones. First is action on the protein metabolism. We have seen in the growth hormone acts on the metabolism of the body as well as on the bones. Growth hormone has action on the protein metabolism, carbohydrate metabolism and fat metabolism. Growth hormone is responsible for the synthesis of proteins, while mobilization of fats and conservation of carbohydrates. So let us see what is the action of these thyroid hormones on the protein metabolism. Thyroid hormones increase as the synthesis of proteins in the cells. That means thyroid hormones has the same action as like of the GH, because GH is also responsible for the synthesis of proteins, but the ways are slight different. GH hormone increases synthesis of proteins by increasing amino acid transport, by increasing RNA translation, by increasing transcription of DNA to RNA, and decreases catabolism of protein and promotes anabolism of proteins, while T3 and T4 hormones synthesize protein by increasing translation of DNA to RNA, by increasing translation of RNA, by increasing activity of mitochondria, and by increasing the activity of cellular enzymes for metabolism. So here are the 2 points are the same as with hormone GH. So GH also function as synthesis of proteins, and thyroid hormones also functions as a synthesis of proteins. So there are two different things are here, by increasing activity of mitochondria and by increasing activity of cellular enzymes for the metabolism. So transcription of DNA to RNA, it helps for RNA translation, and ultimately RNA translation helps for the activation of ribosomes, while or when ribosomes get activated, protein synthesis is get activated. That means both GH and T3 and T4 are responsible for the increase of transcription of DNA to RNA, increases the translation of RNA. Here in the thyroid hormones, they increases synthesis of proteins by increasing the activity of mitochondria. So thyroid hormones increases the number and activity of mitochondria in the most cells of the body, and also this thyroid hormones responsible for the synthesis of RNA and other substances from the mitochondria. That means in turn mitochondria increases the production of ATP, and which is used for the utilization for energy. So this thyroxine increases the synthesis of protein with the help of increasing activity of mitochondria. Then thyroid hormone also synthesize proteins by increasing the activity of cellular enzymes. Various cellular enzymes are responsible for the activation of ribosomes. So these thyroid hormones activates the enzymes for the metabolism of proteins and carbohydrates. So this is the action of thyroid hormones on the protein metabolism. That means, in short, thyroid hormones are responsible for the synthesis of proteins by these 4 ways. Let's talk about next function, that is metabolism of carbohydrates. In the GH hormone is responsible for carbohydrate conservation or storage of carbohydrates in the form of glycogen in the body cells. So let us see thyroid hormone action on the carbohydrate metabolism. Thyroxine stimulates almost all processes involved in the metabolism of carbohydrate. So there are 4 processes. First one is it increases the absorption of glucose from GI tract. That means after taking diet, glucose is absorbed in the blood, and this absorption of glucose is increased with the help of this thyroid hormone. That means thyroid hormones are responsible for absorption of glucose from the GI tract. Let us see the second process. Thyroid hormones enhances glucose uptake by the cells. That means after absorption of glucose in the blood, from blood, this thyroid hormones enhances glucose uptake by the cells by accelerating the transport of glucose through the cell membrane. So from blood into the cells, glucose uptake is increased with the help of these thyroid hormones. So let us see third action. It increases the breakdown of glycogen into the glucose, while GH helps the conversion of glucose into the glycogen and store glycogen in the various body cells, while this thyroid hormones increases the breakdown of glycogen into the glucose. Let us see the fourth action. Thyroid hormone accelerates gluconeogenesis. That means formation of glucose from non-carbohydrate substances. That means formation of glucose from proteins, formation of glucose from lipids. This is called as gluconeogenesis. So glucose formation from non-carbohydrate substances is increased or accelerated by these thyroid hormones. Let's talk about the third function, that is fat metabolism. Thyroxine decreases fat storage by mobilizing it from adipose tissue and fat depots. So this action is same as we have seen in the GH. GH is also responsible for mobilization of fats from adipose tissue. Here the same action for the thyroid hormones. Thyroid hormones also decreases fat storage because fat is mobilized from their storage depots, that means adipose tissue and fat depots. So this action is same as of GH. And first action, that means on the protein synthesis, this is also same for GH hormone. But here a slight difference is that is the mobilized fat is converted into free fatty acid and transported by the blood. That means free fatty acid level of blood is increased by thyroid hormone as well as GH hormone. But thyroxine increases free fatty acid level in the blood, but specifically it decreases cholesterol, phospholipids and triglycerides. So these three levels, that means cholesterol level, phospholipid level and triglyceride levels. So except these free fatty acids, thyroid is responsible for increase in the free fatty acid level except cholesterol, phospholipid and triglyceride levels in the plasma, because thyroid hormones has action on the liver and this is responsible for this decrease in the cholesterol, decrease in the triglyceride and decrease in the phospholipid level, while other free fatty acid level is increases by the thyroid hormones. Let us see fourth action on the liver. Thyroxine decreases plasma cholesterol level by increasing its excretion from liver cell into the bile. When these thyroid hormones on the fat metabolism, they causes fat mobilization from adipose tissue, so that free fatty acid level of blood is increases. But at the same time, these thyroid hormones acts on liver cells, and that liver cells are responsible for excretion of cholesterol into the bile, so that blood cholesterol level is decreased by these liver cells under the influence of these thyroid hormones. So free fatty acid level is increases except the cholesterol, phospholipids and triglyceride, because thyroid also acts on liver cells, and they causes thyroid hormone causes decrease in the plasma cholesterol level by increasing its excretion from liver cell into the bile. And because of this excretion of cholesterol into the bile, it causes decreased plasma cholesterol level, and this is under the influence of thyroid hormones. Cholesterol enters the intestine through the bile and then it is excreted through the feces. That means cholesterol level in the blood gets decreased, and this action is carried out by the liver cells under the thyroid hormone influence. Let's talk about fifth action, that is action on the vitamin metabolism. Thyroxine increases the formation of many enzymes, and these enzymes are the necessary for the vitamins. So indirectly, vitamins utilized during the formation of enzymes. So indirectly, thyroid hormone acts on the vitamins. Thyroxine increases formation of many enzymes. Since vitamins are essential parts of the enzymes, so it is believed that vitamins may be utilized during the formation of enzymes. So indirectly, thyroid acts on the vitamin metabolism because thyroid has action on the formation of many enzymes. So this is about vitamin action of thyroid hormones on the vitamin metabolism. So next function is here the applied physiology. Hypersecretion of thyroxine will cause vitamin deficiency, because when these thyroid hormones secretes in excess quantity, that means they form many enzymes in excess quantity. So vitamins are used in the excess quantity when these thyroid hormones secreted in more quantity, there is a vitamin deficiency, because vitamins are used in the more quantity, so they get deficient. Let's talk about the next function, that is action on the BMR. Thyroxine increases the metabolic activities, as we have seen: metabolism, fat metabolism, carbohydrate metabolism, then protein metabolism, and vitamin metabolism. So thyroxine increases metabolic activities in most of the tissues of the body. So it increases BMR, that is basal metabolic rate, by increasing the oxygen consumption of the tissues. So oxygen is used during these metabolic activities, so BMR get increased. So in hyperthyroidism, that means secretion of thyroid hormones in the excess quantity, 60 to 100% or above the normal level, so BMR get increased in this quantity of 60 to 100% above the normal level. That means it doubles the BMR, because thyroid hormones get secreted in excess quantity, and this will cause metabolic activity in excess quantity. Oxygen consumption is increased in excess quantity, so BMR get increased due to these hyperthyroidisms. While in hypothyroidism, BMR get decreases by 20 to 40% below the normal level. So when these thyroid hormones secretes in less quantity, metabolic activities are less consumption of oxygen, and BMR decreases, or BMR gets less by 20 to 40% below the normal level. So in this lecture we have seen up to the 6th function. First function was action on protein metabolism. Thyroid hormones helps in the synthesis of protein by increasing transcription of DNA to RNA, by increasing translation of RNA, and by increasing mitochondria activity, and by increasing the activity of cellular enzymes. So thyroid hormones are responsible for the synthesis of proteins, as like the GH hormone. Then next function was function on the carbohydrate metabolism. Thyroxine stimulates almost all processes involved in the metabolism of carbohydrates. That means thyroid hormones increase absorption of glucose from GI tract into the blood. Then second action was it enhances glucose uptake from blood into the cells. It breaks the glycogen into the glucose, and it accelerates the formation of glucose from non-carbohydrate molecules, that means from lipids or from amino acids. While third function, fat metabolism, thyroxine decreases fat storage. That means as like of GH, thyroid causes mobilization of fats from adipose tissue and fat depots, and this mobilized fat get converted into free fatty acid, and this free fatty acid level in the plasma get increased, except cholesterol, phospholipids, and triglycerides, because at the same time thyroid hormone acts on the liver cells, and liver cells causes excretion of this cholesterol into the bile, as well as excretion of triglycerides and phospholipids into the bile, so that free fatty acid level is increased with this thyroid hormones, while free fatty acid level of cholesterol, triglyceride, and phospholipids get decreased. with the help of thyroid hormones by the liver cells. So action on liver: thyroxine decreases plasma cholesterol level because liver cells excretes cholesterol into the bile, and cholesterol enters into the intestine through this bile, and then after it excreted through the feces. That means thyroid hormones helps to decrease plasma cholesterol level with the help of liver cells. Fifth action on the vitamin metabolism. This is the indirect effect on the vitamin metabolism, because thyroid hormones acts or stimulates the formation of many enzymes in the body, and vitamins are the essential parts or necessary for the formation of enzymes. So indirectly thyroid hormones use these vitamins for the formation of many enzymes. So when this thyroid hormone secretes in excess quantity, it will cause vitamin deficiency. The sixth function on the BMR or action on the BMR. As the thyroid hormone acts on metabolism of the body, such as carbohydrate metabolism, fat metabolism, protein metabolism, and vitamin metabolism, thyroxine increases the metabolic activities in most of the tissues of our body. They use oxygen for these metabolic activities. So our BMR get increased as the thyroid hormone acts on metabolic activities, and when these thyroid hormones secreted in excess quantity, BMR get increases by 60 to 100%, and when this thyroid hormone decreases its secretion, BMR gets decreased, and this decreases by 20 to 40% below the normal level. So next function we will see in the next session. So we have seen in this lecture mode of action of thyroid hormones, that is the thyroid hormones combines with nuclear receptors and activates mRNA or formation of mRNA, and this mRNA is responsible for the activation of ribosomes, and various proteins are synthesized after the activation. So that mode of action of this thyroid hormones is through the proteins that are synthesized from the ribosomes. So after that we have seen 6 functions. There are many functions of thyroid hormones. So next functions or remaining functions we will see in the next lecture. So thank you for watching and listening this video.